Hi guys, in this video tutorial I will show you how to install, configure and use Subversion aka SVN. To install it on CentOS you should basically type yum install Subversion, and if you don't have installed it on your system it will download it, install it, so there is nothing to talk about here at this point. After installing Subversion, I encourage you to have a user for that, for configuring and creating repositories. For example, I have a user called SVN user, and I have home directory for my SVN user, and here you can see my directories. Actually, catalog, this one, and this one are directories, are repositories, and we'll talk about conf directory a little bit later. Okay, let's go to one of my repositories and see what we have there. Actually, you can see that conf is a link to conf to a previous directory, to a conf directory which is in previous directory, which is one level up in my directory hierarchy. So here I have content of a repository. Here I have DB, format, hooks, logs, etc. And as I'm not using these things, but instead using only conf, I will show what I have in that directory. Here I have SVN configuration. Not much is modified in this file. I just said that outsdb is this file. This is a file name. Passwords are stored in this file, and nothing more. Let's discover that files. Here I have passwords files. Actually, I don't want to show it, guys. I will show another example of how it should be configured. Basically, you have only this user name and password, so it can be John's password. This is all about passvd file. And let's remove this file because I don't need it anymore, and I can show you the outs file. Outs file says what groups do we have. For example, I have a group configured which name is all, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 users in this group, and you can configure access to repositories this way. You type the location of repository, for example Tumblr, and you say that group, this at mark means that all is a group, have a read-write access to this repository. As you can see, all my guys, all 7 members have read-write access to all my 4 repositories, which is not a good idea. You should always do it right way. People shouldn't have access more than needed. So this is done in the wrong way, and of course you can configure access per directory. For example, one user can have access to read-write access to trunk directory, another one can have read access to trunk directory, and those 2 guys can have only read access to text directory, and so on. You can actually configure very granular access control lists for repositories and directories for users and groups of users and so on. Everything you need is here in configuration file sample. So this is basically the configuration. What I have a process running, I guess. Yes, I have a process running. It's called SVN serve. Maybe you should feed the configuration file if it doesn't find it automatically. As I'm not mistaken, you should feed it the customized configuration file, or you should say where is the home of SVN. Actually, maybe I should show you how it is done. etc entity. If I'm not mistaken, it should be here. No, it isn't. And I have not looked. I have no look. Oh, it's here. Sorry, missed it. Okay, I have modified few lines here. Okay, so the server running from this location, so executable is here, and I set somewhere here that the home directory is home of SVN user, because I've created that user manually. Okay, here how I give the home directory. So remember this part now. For now, you have seen it. You have seen it here. Here is the argument which is taken from the init script. Okay. Let's see how the repository iwish uses that. cd iwish. As you can see, as you can see, I have the same link to the same directory, so I'm using the same conf directory for my 4 repositories. Let's create another one. Firstly, you should create a directory, but for now SVN doesn't know that this is going to be a repository. Actually, it isn't. There is nothing here, as you can see. To make this a repository directory, we should do SVN admin create and the location of a directory which is going to be a repository. After this, SVN adds all these files, and if we are going to use the same configuration, we should remove the conf directory and say that home SVN user conf is going to be our location for link conf, and now the guys from my old group have access to this directory too. So this is the way how I create the SVN directory, how I configure, how I modify the init script to run it with the correct home directory so it can find the configuration and so on. Okay, now let's move on to create some files in directories and understand what is a working copy. So I have repository, newly created example. Let's move to my user. Sorry, I forgot my name. Okay, now I'm going to check out the directory first time, which means that SVN client will create a directory and copy all the files from the repository, so I can work on those files locally, and then if needed to commit them to SVN server, so other guys from my group or from my team can see what I have done, can blame me if I have made some mistakes and so on. So let's start. I do SVN checkout and type the URL of my SVN repository, which is svn.tongler.com, which is the host name, and then example. Maybe I'm doing the same mistake all the time already. Okay, it asks for username. I type my username and password for that username. Authorization failed. Okay, I guess I know what is the reason, so let's go and fix it. Move it to home, SVN user configuration, open the outs file and define a newly created repository here. Oops. Let's go to insert mode, example semicolon slash, and let's say that edic has read-write access and all has only read access to this directory. And go to my user, make sure that I'm in a correct place. No, I'm not. So I want to create the working copy in my home directory, so I moved to it, and SVN checkout SVN. Am I correct by typing this? Yes, maybe. SVN tongler.com/example. Okay, I've checked out, so now I have the example directory here. If I move to it, I see that it's empty, but actually it's not. It has .svn folder in it, which is basically a database for my repository. It contains the versioning information and so on. So let's move up and create a file. For example, let's create vim main cpp and type something into it. Stream. So I have the file, but actually I can't just create a file in my working copy and then do SVN commit, which means to upload it to server. Actually, when I create every file or every directory, I should do SVN add main cpp, which will add this file to the SVN database structure, and only after this I can do SVN commit and do not forget to write what you just did and what are you committing. Edit main cpp file. Now I have committed, so the revision is increasing by 1. This is the first version of my repository of my software. If I'm writing a software here, the command is the same for folders. If after creating a folder with mk directory command, you do SVN and the address of that directory, which should be located in the working copy. So after working on this, I do SVN commit, and to download the newly added changes on the repository, maybe done by other guys, I can type SVN update. Sorry, revision is not increased, so I can understand that nothing has changed, nobody has modified the files and committed, so it is the same version. So this is how you can use SVN to write and to keep the versions of your software and so on. Okay, let's focus on another thing and finish this video, guys. Basically, if you have a project, for example, its name is example, you should create 3 folders: trunk, tags, branches, and add them to SVN hierarchy. SVN add tags, SVN add branches, SVN add trunk, and SVN move main cpp to trunk. Okay, this is the correct way to work with SVN repositories. It's not mandatory, you cannot do this, but you definitely should. The trunk is the place where all the mess is going on. You write some not complete code which maybe will not compile because some parts are not written yet, and when the content of the trunk directory is a complete version, you can do a tag. Tags and branches are basically another directories. Those directories are handled by SVN like any other directory, nothing specific for them. You can copy all the content to tags and create their version number, folder, and copy all the files you have in trunk to those folders by using SVN copy command, which is obvious. I will not show you how to use it, and use all the things for example staging tools, or push them to live if it's a website or a software from the tags. Nobody moving the software or the website from the trunk directory, because trunk is treated like a trash, like something which is not complete, and only if in a particular moment, in a particular set of times, you know that the content of trunk is a complete program or a complete site which will not contain errors and so on, or it should be maybe tested for your testing team, you should copy that version to one of tags directory subdirectories. What is branches? You are writing a software, and in particular moment you understand that you have 2 ways to develop your software. You keep the main way, the original idea, and continue development, and in that way, and create a branch. Branch is basically is a branch. You just from some point you just starting to modify your software in two ways. The first way is your original way, and the other way is branch of your original tree, of your original way. The branches can then come back to original software and merge with it. You can have multiple branches. Branches can also have branches. I'm not sure if it's a good practice, but anyways. Okay. Now I've modified, I've created some directories. What should I do? I should commit it, so other guys from my team can see that I've created some directories, moved some file to that directory, maybe I modified the files and so on. SVN commit -m created and moved main cpp to trunk. So this is already revision 2. Actually, I will give you the last advice. Commit on every step you do. You have created trunk folder, committed. You have created tags folder, committed. Branches, committed. Moved the file, committed. Don't do many things. Don't modify many files and commit them at once. You should be able to shortly and clearly describe what are you doing, what did you did before committing this working copy of your repository, of your software or website or whatever it is. So this is all I know about SVN. If you have some information to add, some advices, maybe I'm lying something in this video, feel free to comment. Please do that. Subscribe for other videos, and have a good day. Bye.